changes. Spell it. C H A N G E S. Changes.
Hi, Erica, Becker, and Bennett. This is your Aunt Lita, in case you forgot. We haven't seen each other for a long time. No see, no hear. And you know why? Because of change. Just like we just saw in that video. We have all had changes. I understand you have a new family, a bigger family, a new house, new activities, new surroundings. Well, you're not the only ones. You may know that Nate and I moved also. You moved from one house in Puyallup to another house in Puyallup. We moved from one state, Washington, totally to another state, Massachusetts. Massachusetts. Is that right? Oh, there you go. Massachusetts. And I'm not even going to ask you to spell it because I'm still learning to spell it myself. And I have to kind of check once in a while to see I got all the S's in the right places and all the T's in the right places and not too many and not too few. I'm counting the S's here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 S's in Massachusetts. 4 S's, 2 T's, and the rest is other stuff. Anyway, you know, that's the reason, like these changes, that we haven't been able to really communicate very well. So the first thing I'm going to do is give you a little lesson in map lesson in geography, so you get an idea of how far away we are. We moved from the state of Washington. You can see the arrow up there in the corner, in the left-hand corner, and then you see the arrows in the right-hand corner that goes to that little blue spot there that is Massachusetts. Washington to Massachusetts. And it's such a small little dot, practically, that I had to make the letters way below because you can't even get the word Massachusetts in Massachusetts. First of all, we packed up everything in the house. We put it on a truck and stood and said goodbye. And the next thing you knew, we were at Seattle-Tacoma Airport. So we're on this plane, and there are other things to do besides look out the window. They have screens on the plane we were in, and on that screen you can see all about the plane that you're in, and then you can see movies unless
You want to look at the girl that keeps putting her head over the seat in spite of what her mom says and stares at you for most of the flight. Otherwise, you can be watching all the way across the country where the plane is in relationship to where you're going. And in this case, we're going to the Boston airport. And there we are. So here we are getting our rental car, and we're preparing to get out of Boston so we can get to our first destination. So getting out of Boston is a driver's trick. And we were discussing how we might get on the right road.
Right here, huh?
Yeah. From what it looked like, it said this is 4th Street, but they were telling you that the next one is 4th Street,
Yeah.
which again just wasn't very. Go straight,
Yeah, you
Pearl
can't go that
Street.
way. It's 4th Street. Yeah.
After 310 feet, turn right, Broadway, then
And finally, we are back on a freeway. And this freeway is going to take us to a place called Worcester. Stay in Worcester for a couple days. Just long enough to get a car and to see a sunset. And the next day, there is snow on the ground, but the snow plows are out everywhere. So we get in our new Subaru and head for Springfield, the next stop in Massachusetts. When we get to Springfield, we start traveling all over looking for houses. Here's one we didn't buy, and here's one we didn't buy, and here's one we didn't buy. Here's one we didn't buy. So we looked around and heard about a house in Pittsfield. Now, Pittsfield, as you see, is a ways away. So we get in the car and we drive to Pittsfield.
after half a mile, turn left, US 20, west, Route 20. At the end of the road, turn left, MA 9, East Street, then turn right, Elm Street. After 150 feet, you have reached your destination. It is on your left.
Okay, let's slow down. Guess what? This is it. This is where we're going to live. So that was our house in March when we bought the house. Then in April, spring came and things changed. Then in May, we had even more changes. And you see Nate in the garden that we have. And we can watch birds. A lot of birds here. And there's some parks that you can drive to, and there are some parks that we can walk to. And there are trails through the meadows, trails through the trees.
So, okay, I understand that you are going to Idaho for the 4th of July. And I think that's great. But I also think you should be in Massachusetts on the 4th of July, or close to it. Because, you know, what's important about the 4th of July? It's when the United States of America, if you don't realize, became a country of its own. And until that time, it was owned by England. Yeah, we were owned by England. And about a little over 200 years ago, the people in the United States, which is just a few little states then, they weren't even states, they were just areas, like 13 of them. And they were really, really mad because the King of England kept taxing them and charging them money to live here in America. And then England would send over ships, and we would put our goods on those ships and take it away. And Americans thought that they could do better all by themselves. So they decided to have a party one day. And it was when a ship came into the Boston harbor, and it had tea on it. And the king wanted everybody to pay taxes on this tea, really high taxes. So a lot of colonists, that's what the early Americans were called, colonists, got on the ship, threw the tea overboard, made it useful for nothing. And you know what that event is called? The Boston Tea Party. And that seems to be where all of the ideas for this American war against England, which was the American Revolution. Eventually, America won the war. And the 4th of July is the day that we celebrate that. Now, that was like over 200 years ago. The town of Boston, the city of Boston, and actually all over Massachusetts, have historical places that are really important to the history of the 4th of July. Yeah. So I think you, the three of you, should ask your mom to bring you to Massachusetts. Just tell her that you'll learn to spell it if she brings you here to see us. That's my thought for the day.